So this is the Red Bridge. I guess that's what they named the trail. This bridge has been around for many, many years. Even when they renovated this area, they kept the bridge. And so now I guess the place is called Red Bridge. It's beautiful. And right next to the Red Bridge is a modern bridge. So I'm just taking a walk. I was hoping to work today. Today's Monday. But as an independent contractor, you can only work when there is work. So it's a beautiful, cool day today. You don't need the AC. It's actually chilly. There seems to be a bench at every quiet spot. But anyway, I was hoping to work today and I'm off. So I decided to take a walk. Enjoy this beautiful day. Show you guys in the Philippines what America looks like, what Connecticut looks like. This is Meriden, Connecticut. This is where I'm living now, from the Bronx. And so after me being on YouTube for many, many years, and after my constant posts on the Philippines, whether showing you guys the sights and showing you guys the places I go to, or whether just talking about the Philippines or the people of the Philippines, my channel has always been the same. But for some reason, YouTube is acting up because they want to bother people and demonetize people, and it just doesn't make any sense. You know, they're telling me that I'm reusing content. Reusing content. This is my content right here. I turn the camera on and I talk. Or I show you guys things that are going on in my life while I'm in the Philippines. But this is why you can't depend on chump change, right, from certain agencies, right? For example, the government, right? Anyone who's ever depended on the government, whether for food stamps or whether for housing or welfare, whatever, knows that when you depend on the government, you have to abide by their rules. You're constantly dipping and ducking and hiding, and you're constantly worried about, you know, if you have an extra job or extra income, they're going to take the little bit you already have. And, you know, you can't live, you can't think, you can't relax, right? Because you're constantly depending on someone to provide for you. And when you do that, you have to abide by their rules. And so YouTube, when you post videos on YouTube, right, and you do that in hopes to become monetized and become a vlogger, whatever, to do this full time, because a lot of people depend on YouTube as their main income, especially those who are overseas, right? And that's a big mistake. That's a huge mistake to think that you can live off of YouTube income and that you can leave your country, go overseas, and simply vlog and post videos and get paid and everything is all good, right? That's not how it is. YouTube is like the government. When you work for YouTube, you have to tiptoe on and around everything you say. They want you to talk the way they want you to talk. They want you to say it the way they want you to say it. And if you don't, they will demonetize you. They will take the little bit of chump change you get every month from them, right? And you're constantly worried about whether or not your content is going to make the cut, right? Constantly worried. I mean, you see it with other content creators, right, who are constantly complaining on how YouTube demonetized them, or how YouTube took down one of their videos, or how YouTube, it's always some issue. And so if you people, expats, right, think that you can live off of YouTube, right, that you can quit your job here in the US or anywhere you live, and that you can, go to the Philippines or overseas to any country and earn your income by posting videos on YouTube, one day you're going to wake up and find that you've been demonetized. They're not going to tell you why, because YouTube does not tell you why they demonetized you. They're not going to tell you which video is the one that caused the demonetization. They're not going to tell you a damn thing. Hell, they're not even going to email you or call you or send you a letter or a homing pigeon to tell you that there's a problem. You're just going to wake up and find that they're no longer paying you. And so when that happens, what do? I mean, who do you depend on, right? If that's your source of income. And if YouTube is your source of income and you're an expat living overseas, you're going to have a serious problem one day. And you better hope that you got some backup money to, to get you out of a jam if you find yourself in one while overseas, because you can't pay your bills one day. You can't buy a plane ticket back home. You can't feed yourself. You can't pay your bills. You can't pay your rent. Anyone who depends on YouTube and believes that that is an excellent source of income, of a full-time source of income, and that's going to be your main source of income, you got a problem. Either you have a problem or you will have a problem if that's how you're planning to survive while overseas. I mean, it might work for a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. YouTube was paying me for, I would say for the past almost year now, right? But they're constantly demonetizing you. They're constantly asking you to explain to them why they should remonetize you. You don't even know why you were demonetized. You don't even know what you should be saying on your videos. And then when they deny you the appeal, you're wondering why. You're wondering why you're going to deny my appeal when my videos are all the same. There's nothing different about any of my videos on this channel, because I have other channels, right? But anyway, look, people, I've seen YouTubers who have been demonetized while having 3 million subscribers, where YouTube not only demonetized them but deleted every single one of their videos. Every single one. Makes no sense that YouTube would do that to someone who has 3 million subscribers. Why would you allow someone who has 3 million subscribers, right, to post things that according to you now you don't like, right, and not notify the guy when he's been doing this for years? This was his main source, YouTube, right? And one day he woke up and he had nothing. I mean, think about that. 3 million subscribers. And the problem with this guy is that he had a friend or someone he hired to control everything, right? The editing of his videos, the uploading, control his channel, the money, accounting, everything. This guy was a freaking idiot. Do you honestly think that I need someone to control my money? Do you honestly think that? I'm a grown-ass man and I'm going to pay someone else to control my money? So he wakes up one day and not only is he demonetized, not only has YouTube deleted his channel, but his friend and accountant, he couldn't reach him. He couldn't contact him. And the guy ended up leaving, disappearing with some, I don't know, $150,000 or $250,000 of this YouTuber's money. Because not only was he monetized, but he had sponsors. I mean, just think about that. Everything gone, not just AdSense, but the sponsors. When YouTube deletes everything, they don't tell you, listen, start downloading your stuff because we're getting rid of it. They don't do that. Everything's gone. They just take it from you. And that's how it is with the government. When you rely on them and you don't follow their rules, they simply take what they give you and what they've given you. And that's how they control you. And this is how YouTube controls the majority of YouTubers who want to have a YouTube channel and want to get paid, but they want to get paid at the expense of their own channel because they're not being real. And this is why you can't trust or believe anything that's being told to you on YouTube by anyone, including myself. You can't believe anything because these people are getting paid and they're being literally manipulated by YouTube, right? Because they have to kiss YouTube's ass. They have to. They don't have a choice, right? I don't have a choice. But the difference between them and me is that I don't care about that chump change YouTube wants to give me every month to control what I say and how I say it. And if I don't say it that way, or if I just simply step out of line, they're going to take my money, because that's exactly what they do. And so I'm not going to change how I report. I'm not going to change how I talk. I'm not going to change what I do and how I do it. I am simply going to continue being the man that I've always been. And if nobody likes it, that's too bad. But I'm not going to kiss YouTube's ass for $200, $300, or $400 a month. I'm just not going to do that, you know? And so it's crazy, man, you know, because if you do this as a hobby, right, like I do, right, because I don't rely on YouTube for money, right? I don't rely on them. And so since, well, I got a lot of bees here. since I don't rely on YouTube, right? And I have my own income, right? I either work or I have my pension because I'm retired. And so I live my life the way I want to live it. And when you rely on government assistance and when you rely on employers like YouTube, and when I say employers, you literally work for YouTube when you post videos on their platform and they start to pay you. And so this is why they tell you how you gotta talk. Not how you need to talk, but how you must talk. And it just doesn't make sense because it doesn't matter how you do it, how you say it, what you say. They will always have an issue. You can't talk about politics without being deleted. You can't talk about certain politicians. It's so ridiculous. You can't talk about certain genders. You can't talk about nothing. Nothing. These freaking scam calls. It's one of the things I miss about the Philippines. What I miss about the Philippines is that I don't get any scam calls. Actually, they come on this phone because I get calls over there still from here. But anyway, if you rely on YouTube the same way you rely on the government, you will never truly be free. You can't be free when your employer is telling you how to walk, how to talk, how to dress, and how to behave, right? Not at his place or at his work environment, because I understand, right, that if I work for somebody and there's a uniform policy, then I'm going to wear the uniform, right? I'm going to dress the way they want me to dress. I'm going to walk the way they want me to walk, and I'm going to talk the way they want me to talk. But when I am freaking scam calls, it's a lot of bugs here. Anyway, when you work for yourself, right, you don't have to rely on people like YouTube or the government, right? Because when you do, you have to abide by their rules. You have to do everything they want you to do, right? And so if I'm working for someone, I will follow their rules. But if I'm in my house and I'm simply posting videos on a platform that is made just for that, and there are no bad words, and I'm not showing anything sexual, and I'm not being a deviant, and I'm not doing anything disrespectful, it doesn't make sense that YouTube would simply delete you, demonetize you, or give you a strike for stupidity and nonsense, and then not tell you why they did it. And so I'm going to continue to post videos. I'm not up here for the money. I never was. I was posting videos for many, many years, long before YouTube monetized me. And so if they want to remonetize me, I will gladly take their money, right? But in the meantime, I'm going to continue to post. And so, but again, my advice to any expats who are thinking about moving overseas or going overseas, do not make YouTube your main source of income. You will find yourself by yourself. You will find yourself stranded and lost if you rely on them as your employer or your main source of income. And remember, they are your employer. Once they start to pay you, they're going to tell you what to say and how to say it. And you're going to find yourself wanting to kiss their ass because you want that money. But let me tell you, to sell your soul for $200, $300, or $400 a month, it ain't worth it. So I'm going to continue to do what I do and continue to post. So, it is what it is. And so, I'm gonna keep doing what I do. One thing I never was, even when I was young and I was working, I was never one of those guys who would kiss anybody's behind for money. You know, I am one of those guys, if the boss says, hey, can you sweep the floor? Sure, no problem. Can you clean the toilet? Sure, no problem. Right? I'm the kind of employee who will do what he got to do. As long as I get my money, I don't care what you're paying the next man. Just give me the money you and I contracted for. Right? And so, because outside of YouTube, I've never been that kind of a man, right? Then now that I am with YouTube, I'm not gonna become that man.
You are ready to teach.
And so the man that you are outside of YouTube, the man that you are outside of work, the man that you are at home when you're by yourself and there's nobody around, that's the kind of man you need to be when you post videos on YouTube, is to be yourself and keep it real. It doesn't make sense that I have to pretend to be someone else. And trust me, they force you to become someone else. And they do that by saying, okay, you want to get paid, you want to continue to be paid, this is how you're going to act, this is how you're going to walk, this is how you're going to talk. Yeah, right. In order for you to get me to be like that, you need to pay me. And I'm not talking about $400 a month either. But there are people like those who lie to their followers on YouTube every day. I mean, just look at people like Marantz Rants and Trace Trades and Thomas James and Phil For Real and all of these scumbags on YouTube talking about the stock market going to the moon and how people were going to become rich. And as soon as the stock blew up, most of them cashed out and left the majority of people hanging. And those who didn't sell because they believed it were stupid. I was telling them for years not to believe the hype. To take your money, get your money. The market doesn't work the way they're telling you on YouTube. But stuff like that YouTube allows. All these lies, all these scams, bro, it doesn't make any freaking sense. No sense at all. But it is what it is. And so this is my warning to expats. My warning to you guys is that YouTube is like this warning, siltstone walls, falling rock zone, right? That's what YouTube is. It's dangerous if you think you're going to make that your source of income, because no one is telling you that that's not how it works. One, they don't pay enough. Two, even if they did, even if you had hundreds of thousands of followers or whatever, you are under their feet, their thumb, their control. Every day of your life, you have to walk on eggshells. hoping that when you wake up one day, you're not demonetized or your channel isn't deleted. So do not think, people, that those expats who are on YouTube in the Philippines and in Thailand are living off of YouTube, because they're not. They're either teaching overseas, they are either retired with pensions, they have some source of income outside of YouTube. And if they don't, they will find themselves seriously stranded. Seriously stranded. And so, don't believe the hype about YouTube and how you can make money and make that your source of income overseas. If you're in the US and you're making videos and you're getting paid, more power to you. Do you? Because when you find yourself like a lot of people who find themselves demonetized or their channels deleted, at least you're back home in the US. You're not relying on YouTube as your source of income. And if you are, at least here at home, you have options. So, better to be stranded at home than to be stranded in another country, a foreign country that isn't yours, because you weren't grown enough, mature enough to understand how reality works. This huge tree fell. Took this little tree with it. It's funny. No one heard it fall, probably, when it did fall. Anyway. So, here I am, back home, enjoying this beautiful day, this beautiful weather, and appreciating the fact that as a grown man, you have to have backup. Not only do you have to have backup, but you have to understand that if, as an adult, right, as a grown man, you don't have the things you need, right? And when I say the things you need, I mean the basics, right? Basics, right? Like the money to pay your rent, right? And then to have extra to get you through until your next pay, right? And as a grown person, you need to have and know and understand the means to, to have a backup plan, to understand and know how things work, right? And that's all I'm trying to explain to people today, is that we can't just throw our lives into the wind, right? And say, okay, let fate take its course and see what happens. Because that's not realistic, you know? And so, look, I remember when I was with my wife, I was 19 when I got married. She was 17. We were both kids. She was still in high school. Graduated and went to her graduation 9 months pregnant, or 8 months. And, you know, I was a good provider. Thank God I knew how to do that as a young boy. And when I wasn't able to do it because of certain circumstances, I was smart enough and know and understand that as a man, you got to do what you got to do to provide for your family and to support your family. I don't care what it is, to make sure that my kids eat and that they have a place to live and to stay. I'm going to do what I got to do. And so, since that's not an option that I want to choose, selling my behind, I have to consider other options, right? And as a man, I should have the sense to say, this is what I need to do. I don't care if I got to leave. I don't care if I got to be gone for a few months. Filipinos do that all the time. They go overseas and leave their families behind just to provide. So, if I have to do the same, then I'll do the same. And so when I was a kid, or when I was 26, I mean, shit, I was a kid at 26 still. I couldn't find a job. There was this huge recession and there was no work. And so me and my wife, I was like, listen, we have to go to the welfare office. You know, we got a kid and I can't find work and we got to do what we got to do. And after a month or two of that nonsense, I was like, nah, I got to do what I got to do. And I joined the army. And I left. And so, in order to provide for my family. You see, those are the good perks about being an American and living in the U.S. But if you live overseas, you need to have a backup plan. You know what my backup plans are when I'm in the Philippines? To know that I have family here that can help me during an emergency, that I have friends, and that I have extra funds so that if there's a huge emergency, whether medical, whatever, I can at least buy my plane ticket home and come back. And so, this is why you cannot rely on certain people, certain agencies, certain governments, or certain positions or applications or whatever. You have to be your own man. So here I am walking and I am so tired. I haven't walked this much in a long time, you know. But I mean, as you people can see in the Philippines, how beautiful the U.S. is, right? Especially Connecticut, New England, the whole New England area. And New England is made up of Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont. And maybe, I don't know if there's another one or two states that I may have forgotten. But it's really beautiful. so I thought I was going to be depressed after returning home, because I knew I would miss the Philippines, and every now and then I'll feel kind of, I'm missing it. But I have to admit, man, it feels good to have the option to return to this beautiful country, to this beautiful, cool air and sunny days, to feel the winter, to see the leaves turn in autumn and the spring. Summer, I'm not too crazy about. And so, this is my day. Today, thank you people for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. And have a wonderful and beautiful night.